Welcome to the Munchkin Minute, your bi-weekly look into some tabletop gaming news and more. I'm your host, Dan, the Board Game Man, and this is your news for April 14th, 2025. So I mentioned last show I wouldn't do any April Fool's gags, and while I meant it, and I kind of stayed true, I had a brain fart and inadvertently pulled a joke during the Adam Spotlight where I talked about Codenames Live and Nerd Incorrect for the second straight show. I don't know how in the world I did this. But anyway, sorry about that, everyone. I didn't really mean to do that. And don't worry, when I cover more great people in the gaming space today in the Adam Spotlight, I will have two that I have not talked about in the past. So let's get started here. So first up, Riot Games had been teasing the new project and a new kind of TCG they were working on. And not a whole lot of information was out there, just that it was kind of League of Legends based and everything was very, very early. And then it kind of went dark for a while. But they have recently revealed more info on the future League of Legends trading card game, the TCG called RiftBound is their name. Now, it's also going to be released and developed by UVS Games. Now, I don't know a whole lot about it yet, about the gameplay, but I have a mail out to get some early copies and decks and such when they are start to become available. And I've got a good relationship with UVS Games because I like a lot of their stuff. So once it does come available, I'll try to get some more information, and I'm sure you'll see me put out more information on the socials and also talk about it on the Geek All Stars. But anyway, the game looks like it has a multiple battlegrounds feel, and you're probably going to have to win a certain amount of these battlegrounds to win the game. There was a Warhammer LCG like this, and Altered kind of does a similar thing with vying control over multiple battlegrounds, and as you're kind of moving to the center. And there's other games like Battle Line, and then their most recent Inside Up games that they kickstarted. Tug of War is also similar, where you kind of have the different battlegrounds and you're playing characters to the different areas vying over points or the control of it. So reading the cards, I looked at it, tried to do a real big deep dive. I read the cards, and it looks like you're going to be playing cards initially to your own base and then deploying them to different battlegrounds. And then when you can also, certain cards will be able to move them to other battlegrounds, and then moving from back and forth with different keywords like ganking, which helps you move from battleground to battleground. That's going to be huge as well. Again, it's early. I could be wrong about all of this, but I've seen that, the cards that I looked at and some videos I watched kind of looked like that. So, and I saw some early pricing as well. There's pre-constructed decks, looked like they're about $20, and I think they were selling them in lots of four. Unless it's just kind of a display. Again, it's just trying to figure out what in the world these prices are. And then there's a Proving Ground starter set, which is about $40. And that's kind of their way of getting people, the novices and experts alike, into the game with these Proving Ground sets with kind of early starter decks or starter heroes as well, to introduce the new players to the game. So again, like I said, all things UVS, I really have been interested in. And I'm really interested in this one. I'm not a huge hardcore TCG guy, but I love playing TCGs, especially getting in on the ground floor of new ones where everybody's kind of on that same level and it hasn't been a gazillion sets where people are bringing all sorts of crazy stuff to the table. I just love grabbing a couple of starter decks or pre-constructed decks, sitting down with a friend and playing, and I hope a lot of people like that out there as well. Anyway, I'm not sure if this is going to be anything like Legends of Runeterra, which was a little bit different. That's an online CCG, which was really good in a similar vein. But we'll wait and find out about that. But let's stick with UVS for a minute. I've been raving for a few months now about Star Trek Star Realms and how great it is. And UVS and Wise Wizard will release an expansion later this fall for Star Trek Star Realms called the Borg Invasion. This is a new expansion. It'll be out probably about October, I think they said. This is going to introduce new cards as well as a co-op mode. Well, obviously it's the Borg because you got to fight the Borg. So there you go. It's co-op. So we'll see some early copies probably, or just demos at Gen Con. I'm not sure of what that price will be, but it does look like it's probably going to be about a $20 expansion there. Later this month, Space Cowboys will release Garden Rush. This will be, when they're releasing it in the US, should be about $25. This is a light, quick tile placement game. Has some pusher luck and just a little bit of take that. I don't think it has too much to be like an unappealing take that. If you don't like take that, just a little bit of that. Very good, fun tile, family weight tile layer. What do you call a nice good filler or 1 hour wonder? It should be about 30 minutes to play. And it looks pretty decent there. A couple of out-of-print gems coming back real soon. First up, Z-Man Games is going to be re-releasing the classic or the original version of Bloodletter. That'll be out next month in May for about $15 is what I think they're going for. It's quite possibly like one of the quintessential 3 to 4 player filler games, and it's perfect for kind of waiting online in a restaurant or even at the table waiting for your food, or at the airport waiting on your plane. Just easy to play. It's a really cool social deduction element that's just one of the best types of those type of games. There's been a ton of versions over the years that I've talked about. Batman Love Letter probably still my favorite, but you really can't beat that original version for ease of play and easy to get into. It's such a great game, Love Letter. Also, being reprinted, another underrated gem from 2017. My God, I can't believe it's been that long since this game was out. Renegade Games is reprinting Sentient. This is going to be a new edition out in July, just in time, of course, for Origins and Gen Con, and that'll be about $40. This is pretty cool. It's got card and dice manipulation. Don't worry about the theme. It's just got a cool little robot theme. Anyway, you got some dice, and you're putting cards between the dice, and you're scoring depending on the numbers on the dice and kind of manipulating those to get better scoring, whether certain dice are higher or lower or equal to, things like that is kind of how it's very quick and easy. They're going to be streamlining things with a new board. There's going to be a solo version, which is, again, right up my alley because I love solo games and I love the puzzly nature of this type of game. So I'm looking forward to seeing kind of some of the changes they've made. And again, this is a really good game and that's a pretty good price there. And finally, there's an expansion of a very successful game, which was announced this week. Sorry We Are French is going to be releasing an expansion for the SDJ nominated In the Footsteps of Darwin. This one is called In the Footsteps of Darwin Correspondence. This one will be out in June. They're going to be adding a couple new things to it. They say several new features to the base game, new publication tokens, classification tokens, envelope tokens, and new characters such as Emma Darwin and Queen Victoria. This one is going to be just a small little expansion, so you're only looking at, from what I could find, about $20. First up in the Adam Spotlight, I want to talk about Alex Radcliffe and Board Game Co. He does a ton of great videos on all sorts of things in the industry, from reviews to top games, lists of games coming, leaving his collection, entering his collection, plays throughs, and crowdfunding coverage. That's really cool. He's more of an economic guy, so he does do a lot of coverage as far as like whether the games will hold on to their price point or hold on to their value to you or resell. So it's pretty interesting other way of seeing that side of the industry. His videos are great, and he puts out a absolute ton of content. Next up, One Bookcase. This is Mike Hughes. He's a local gamer and a great guy. He's a solid Instagram channel where he highlights a lot of great games with impressions of games, unboxings, pictorial overviews. Just an amazing guy. And these are just two amazing guys that I'm blessed to call friends. I'll have a link to Mike's Instagram, One Bookcase, and I'll have obviously a link to the YouTube channel for Alex for Board Game Co. Let's head on over to crowdfunding. First up, Rogue Dungeon, A Rogue's Tale. This is another one where sometimes these come up where I'm like, how did I miss? I think I might have seen this one when it was originally out. This is kind of an expansion, interesting kind of solo dungeon crawl, which of course right up my alley, and this has some extra expansion stuff to it as well. They've got to get it all in, you're going to be looking at about 180, or if you've already played, or if you just want the base game, you can get the base game and the sewers expansion for $80. Again, an interesting looking kind of dungeon crawl solo. Again, something I really love doing, and I've got a million of these already, so I'm not sure I'll get on this one, but I really would have loved to try this one out. About 2 weeks to go. It is well funded. Again, that is Rogue Dungeon, A Rogue's Tale. And there's 3 new Rogue Dungeon expansions called Sewers, Castles, and A Rogue's Tale World Campaign, and a deluxe storage for all of that content. And the storage looks really cool to kind of be able to keep you to store everything and keep it to get in and out of the gameplay all at once. Next up, Vestia, a strategy and survival board game in space. What this does is pretty cool. So this is kind of has a co-op survival game, and one of the main mechanics is using kind of a mahjong mechanic in it, in how you're kind of mining things. So as you're doing that, you're building up kind of your base. There's some pirates in there. Really cool mahjong and a kind of kind of a thematic Euro type game. There's about 4 weeks almost 4 weeks to go in this one. And this one you get in for about $65, which is pretty good because it does look like a very well produced game. So that is Vesta. Check that out. Only a couple from Kickstarter today. We got 3 from GameFound. First up, Spark Riders 3000 Galactic Modules. This is an expansion of Spark Riders 3000. I remember when this one originally was on GameFound because I remember the production of the game and of the videos. I mean, it's one of the most amazingly produced Kickstarter videos, GameFound videos, or any crowdfunding video that I've ever seen. The game looks amazing, and I did see it being played at Adam. I don't know if they had the expansion stuff in there. I just remember seeing them using an iPad and playing this game. It looks amazing on a table. It has a kind of feel like FTL, where you're kind of moving around your ship, handling different things that are out there. It's only got about a day as of this recording to get on it, but they always have late pledges, so you'll be able to get in this one. There's a whole bunch of different levels, and of course, it's not necessarily all that cheap, but the game looks really good, and there's a lot of great stuff in that package. They have it all in for about 200 euros to get in everything, but they've also got regular pledges that you can get, regular smaller pledges that you can find, to get started, because they have the Galactic Pledge, which the expansion box for 40 euros, and then they've got a core game pledge for about 75 euros. So there's plenty of ways to get on this one. Again, I did see this one being played and everybody was having a blast. The only negative they said was that it sucked the life out of their iPad. So you can just keep your iPad plugged in. So that's not that big of a negative. But anyway, looks great. So I'd love to hear on a Discord, on Image Explorer's Discord, if anybody has played Spark Riders 3000, let me know your thoughts as well. Next up, another new game, Helldivers 2, the board game, another incredibly successful and popular video game franchise. This is well over €1 million with about a week and a half to go. And I want to cover this one mainly, not only this, because everybody's probably already heard about this one, but I love Nicholas Yu. He's one of the designers, really good buddy of mine. And Steamforged Games does really cool, gigantic, the board game versions of a lot of popular IPs. And I really think this one will be solid. Of course, it's got everything you expect from this type of board game with miniatures and huge board game presence. And it is, the all-in is about $250. It's ridiculous, the all-in. So if that's your thing, but you can get in on a regular edition for about $80 in there as well. So definitely check this one out. I think this one will be a lot of fun, especially if you are a fan of the video game as well. And finally, I want to cover this one. I always love Red Raven Games. Is one of my favorite publishers. Ryan Lockett, his art and his design, and he's just such a great person, and everybody at Red Raven are just such great people. This one is called Six Sojourns. There's a deluxe all-in version for this one for $100. This kind of takes the really fun and quick gameplay of 8-Minute Empire and makes it into kind of a longer board game where you can play a campaign of 6 games, or you can just kind of add it session by session to individual kind of scenario play as well. But it takes that easy gameplay of 8-Minute Empire and expands it again into a larger board game. Really fun game. I mean, 8-Minute Empire is a great game, and this looks like it's no different. He's really good. Ryan is really good about taking kind of a simple concept and making it into a larger board game. Again, this is only about 1 day left to get in on the regular, but again, you can always get the late pledges to get in this one. So I really wanted to cover that one. That is Six Sojourns. Thanks for joining me today. If you see any news you think I'd like to feature, shoot me a message at GeekJockDan on Twitter, or you can find me now on Instagram as well. And please check out Majorspoilers.com for great content by Steven and the rest of the Major Spoilers crew. And of course, check out my regular show, the Geek All Stars podcast. As always, I'm Dan the Board Game Man, and I'll see everyone in a couple weeks for another Munchkin Minute.
This podcast is copyright 2025 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.